and the seal is full of drawings. And he said once you enter there, you don't want to go out. You don't want to go out of the bath. While in Cordoba, there was more than 900 baths. And in Istanbul, even there was some kind of movable bath. In the big festival, they were building a movable bath that you're attending in the festival, and you can go take a bath. So there was much care about the hygiene in the Muslim civilization. Even one of the travelers from Baghdad went to Andalusia, went to Cordoba, and when he came back, he was a historian. He said that they are very strange, these people, these Muslim people in Cordoba. Even the poorest man who barely can find the food of his day, he is keen to buy a soap to wash his body. They are obsessed by washing themselves more than any other parts of the Muslim lands. So, on the other hand, at this time, we find the other example of mainly of Europe, which is the most adhering culture to the Muslims. We find many examples of the non-hygiene at all. For example, it was famous about Napoleon that when he was coming back from the battle, going back to France, he was sending a message to his wife, Josephine, before he reached. By a couple of days, he said, "Don't take any bath. I'm coming." He want to enjoy the stench of his wife. That's why it's very clearly you can interpret his behavior in the battles. How this lots as you can read now, lots of books, the psychology of jihad. People want to understand the psychology of jihad. How this Palestinian man go and blow himself between the tanks and the soldier of Israel, and his mother no, and she say goodbye to him. Let's meet in the paradise and this stuff. People want to understand the psychology of such people who do strange things. So in the same way, now you can understand the behavior of tyrant like Napoleon, how he massacred the innocent people in Gaza or in Jaffa or in Egypt, because he liked to be stinky, and he liked his wife to be stinky. So, and other examples, when Al-Tartushi, he was an Andalusian scholar from Tortosa, it's in a city in the south of Barcelona. He went to the trip in Europe, and when he came back, he said, "You will never find more stinky people than those people. They take a shower just 1 or 2 times a year. Their clothes, they just wear it the whole year without washing." He said, whenever you go there, you will regret for going there. So this is how was the hygiene in Europe in that time. While we find a book like the book of Joseph Macpeak, it's called the City of Muslims in Andalusia. This man most probably he's an atheist, and he hates the 3 religions. But he wrote the truth that he found out. He said that in that time, in Paris and London, the sewage water was running in the street and collecting in the main roads, and the smell was stinky in the main squares of Paris and London, while in Cordoba and Granada and the Muslim lands, the streets were paved. The toilets were in the homes of the Muslims. They had a hot and cold water. The streets were lightened in that time. So he was honest. He was honest in explaining the status of the two nations. So, and when you review the history of the public baths in Europe in that time, especially in England, for example, you find that in the 12th century, there was a decree to close all the baths there, because it has been used as a brothels. You were using the bath as a brothel. And And as a matter of fact, the baths were mainly for the elite people, not for the public. And after this decree, for many years, the baths were closed. And there was a belief in Europe by the church was propagating this belief that you have to keep yourself with your smell without taking a shower, because you have to keep your rewards from God. If you take a shower, you remove the reward. That's why the people used in Europe in that time to put the orange skin in their armpits and their pockets to reduce the much stench that they have. And it was a belief for example, in England as well, that the public bath is unsanitary, is not healthy. And even some of them was banned till 1914. Some public baths was banned till 1914. And nice story that the first big public bath in England was in the 17th century. It was called Muhammad's bath. He was an Indian Muslim who came to Europe, went to England, and he built the bath was called Muhammad's bath. And in that bath he brought some chemical substance, for washing the head. And this substance called in Indian language shampoo. So now we can know from where the word shampoo came. Not just a shampoo. The massage, which is rubbing the body, it mainly came from the Arabic word massa. Massa means to touch, and is mentioned in the Quran. وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ وَلَمْ أَكُ بَغِيًّا. When Mary told the angel Gabriel that nobody touched me and I'm not a prostitute. So the tradition of the massage came even from the Muslim lands. Not just the massage, the soap. One of the things that the Crusaders took back with them from the Holy Lands was the soap. They saw the people, of course, before they massacred them. They saw that they were washing themselves with some kind of chemical substance. So they took it with them. And this substance was called sabun. In Arabic it's called sabun. And from this word has been derived the word soap. Not just this, but the perfumes. The first invention, we know that the Muslims are the people who founded the science of the chemistry. And the invention of the perfumes was in Iraq, was in Baghdad. And it has been exported to the whole world. So now, after knowing these facts that even the Orientalists, the non-Muslim, they are mentioning in their books, even if they attack the Islam. But this is one of the first facts that we mention in this series of lectures, which shows you what's the bounties of this ummah, of these Muslims to the whole world. Imagine if the Muslims didn't have these traditions, if they didn't have all these inventions or all these teachings. Do you think that you would go tonight to take a shower at night? Do you think that you would have some inventions like the soap, like the shampoo, like the perfumes, or it would postpone for hundreds and hundreds of years? So I will go back to quote from Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 16, where he says, "By their fruits you shall know them." This is the ummah that by their fruits you will know them. And as he said, every good tree brings forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit. This is the fruit that the Muslim brought. And the good fruit will never come from a corrupted tree. And as Allah mentioned in the Quran, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. You are the best people evolved for the mankind. You enjoin the good and you prohibit the bad. وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you very much.